now. So what I want to do is ask the question, and then maybe you could give me an example of how to answer this. A candidate that would fit the bill, answer the question affirmatively, and one that's an example of why not to vote for them. So the first question that you pose is, how is this candidate positioned to show real, even presidential courage? Boyd?
All right, it's one of the most important questions in my view. If you look at someone and you see that they're really doing everything by consultant, everything is poll approved or consultant certified, that's a pretty good indicator of how they're going to govern. You need to ask yourself some questions around that of how is this person going to make decisions? Is it so that they can be popular, so they can hold on to power, or are they simply going to do the right thing? And I think we have some good examples in there. I think you can look at someone like a Ted Cruz, who has really stood up and done things that were not popular, but he was willing to do that even if it meant that he was going to be a one-termer. I think some of the governors have had opportunities to do things like that. But the real question we have to ask is, how is this person going to make decisions? Are they going to make them by polls and what the political trends and winds are, or are they really going to do the right thing first, last, and always?
Right, it's kind of the difference between principle and politics. If you're going to make your decisions based off of the principles on which you ran your campaign, or if you're going to make your decisions based off of the politics or the mob mentality of the moment, which can change all the time. Question number two. The second question you pose asks, when you listen to this candidate, where does it lead your thoughts? And what do you mean by that?
This is one where you can actually flip the Ted Cruz model kind of on its ear. If you compare and contrast, the easy one would probably be Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. When you listen to a Ted Cruz ad or you listen to him speak, you're often drawn in about him. And he's the fighter and he's the champion and he's going to do the right thing. And a lot of it is very centered on Ted the person. Marco Rubio's ads, on the other hand, and often when he speaks, while he talks about his personal story, most people, when they listen, they find themselves thinking about their family and their future, and it's very hopeful. And I think that's an important element. People in the United States really want to feel that someone gets them, and they want to feel like they're part of the story, that they're not just watching a story unfold.
Right, kind of the difference between using yourself as a celebrity or just making yourself more personable and saying, hey, this worked for me, let me show you how it works for you. That's a very interesting perspective. I think a lot of people wouldn't have necessarily made that distinction, but that's interesting, Boyd. Your third question is, what is this candidate for? Explain that one.
Well, it's really easy. We know what the candidates are against. They're against President Obama, they're against each other, fighting for the nomination. But the most important thing is, what is this person for? It's too easy to get caught up in the ads that you showed really demonstrate that it's, I mean, Marco Rubio has already endured over $30 million in attack ads, and many of the other candidates have as well. But it really comes down to that sense and feeling of, I don't care what this person's against. There's plenty to be against. We're against big government. We're against high taxes. Those are all gimmies. But tell me what you're for. Give me your vision of the future. Give me the vision of what good government looks like to you. What is getting government out of the way so that people can live and be free and do the things that they do best? Those are things we really have to get down to. And I think we're going to struggle with that in New Hampshire this week. A lot of them are kind of into the whining phase of the campaign. I think they need to remember that the New Hampshire motto is live free or die. It's not live free or whine about your opponent. Tell us what you're for. Lead or get out of the way.
Right, and I think an example of that even happened in Congress this week with the repeal Obamacare bill, and that a lot of Republicans talk about repealing Obamacare, but what we really need to talk about is exactly how we're going to replace it. That's what's going to appeal to the American people. And until Republicans do that, they're just talking about what they're against, not what they're for.